Value is added to the XRP ledger as tokens are added to it, and the financial market infrastructures and all the banks that are connected to it will determine XRP's true worth. It is where the true worth of the institution will be revealed, thus that is where our attention is directed. After we determine the real value of those banks, we can figure out how much XRP each token would be worth if that amount were added to the XRP ledger using the current supply. This will cost you many $100s. Here, I shall go into great depth to explain everything. Just how large is Ripple? We should start by doing that. Considering the entire crypto ecosystem and all the companies building in it, Ripple has more relationships than other crypto businesses, in my opinion. In my opinion, Ripple and XRP are associated with a number of international payment systems, such as TIPS, CHIPS, and CHIPS, when talking about the scope of financial market infrastructure and central banks. HBAR is probably not far behind, and it has the potential to be a formidable competitor in this field. A major partnership has been forged by Ripple and MUFG Bank. According to estimates, the value of Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group is close to $2.9 trillion, placing it among the world's most valuable financial companies. Their 2,000 stores can be found in over 40 countries. Evidently, they have a substantial amount of cash on hand at this particular bank. We might infer that tokenization of this value is on the horizon from listening to these CEOs. If the bank is working with Ripple, is it totally implausible to think that some or all of this value will be stored in the XRP ledger? Ripple gives each of its partner banks the option of utilizing its own private ledger. That financial institution might consider tokenizing customer deposits. In order to keep their bonds, stocks, or any other valuables safe on their private ledger, they can move them to the XRP ledger. They can easily and cheaply shift value if they so want, whether it's to satisfy consumers who sell different items or just because they want to. Also, a major bank with assets of about $822 billion is Standard Chartered. Are there any other banks besides these two? Worth around $4 trillion in assets. Santander appears to be somewhat less prominent in this particular location. The Santander NA was approximately 102. There is Santander Bank North America. Although it differs on a worldwide basis, their assets amount to approximately $102 billion in this country. In 2023, Bank of Santander's total assets reached €1.8 trillion, up from €358 billion in 2021. As a result, they have accumulated a fortune stretching across several $trillion today. After that, I was staring at some of the world's largest banks. Plus, Ripple has connections to a plethora of Chinese banks, such as MUFG Bank, UBS, Bank of America, and Goldman Sachs. They are either associated with Ripple in some way or are active in Ripple's operations themselves. Goldman Sachs, UBS, Societe Generale, HSBC, and Wells Fargo are all part of this. In fact, Bank of China has ties to another financial institution called Tangolo. Royal Bank, Santander Group, and RBC Royal Bank are undeniably very valuable. Such financial institutions rank among the top in the world. Therefore, 300 billion. 630 trillion. All right. $1 trillion is all I was going to give you. This setting is characterized by enormous cooperation, such as those between the Agricultural Bank of China and the Industrial Commercial Bank of China. The sum total is $3.8 trillion, and it involves Bank of China Limited and JP Morgan Chase. Bank of America has $3.10 trillion in assets. BNP Paribas holds $2.8 billion. Can we safely presume that the XRP ledger will store a portion, if not all, of this value? This is what I think will happen, in my opinion. While I don't have a crystal ball, I do believe that prices will soar by the trillions of dollars when large institutions start moving their assets to the blockchain. Find out how strong of an earthquake this will be. Not long ago, HSBC, the world's 7th largest bank by assets, delivered the bombshell. It is going on an offensive in the cryptocurrency market with Ripple and Medeco. Exactly what you requested. Can you imagine the consequences of adding $2.9 trillion worth of XRP to the XRP ledger? How would that affect the price? Assume I'm right. A colossal amount of this labor was actually my responsibility. Alright then. It seems like some of you are already anticipating my arrival, so I'll just go ahead and say it. Watch it right now. With the current supply of 57.76 billion XRP in circulation, increasing the XRP ledger by $3 trillion would bring the price per XRP to around $50. Simply said, it's $3 trillion. For the next 5 to 10 years, imagine a world where central banks create digital money, tokenize assets, and establish stable coinage. There would be a huge increase to $50 even if these organizations only got $3 trillion. If we were to raise it to $5 trillion with the current supply, we would receive $86. The value of $10 trillion is $173. Assume I'm right. The worldwide market is so vast that even with $10 trillion, you're barely touching the surface. Assume I'm right. Is it completely implausible to think that a leading technology for banks and other financial organizations will only be worth a few percent? If I had to guess, I'd think it may be as low as 10% or 5%. Assume I'm right. When dealing with amounts of $10 trillion, $50 trillion, or $100 trillion, it's easy to see how this might quickly spiral out of control. Contributors to a decrease in the circulating supply include staking, AMFs, long-term holders, such as banks and central banks, and many more. We haven't even gotten to the point where banks are buying Bitcoin in bulk, whether to hold, collateralize, or sell to their customers. Assume I'm right. Our relationship is this. The overall value of the XRP ledger would reach $100 trillion if you were to multiply this by 10, and each token would be valued more than $1,700. Reducing the circulating quantity by, say, 20 or 30 billion tokens might theoretically result in $5,000, $6,000, or $7,000 each XRP. Come back with me to some of these numbers. Some of you have probably been waiting, so I thought I'd finally get around to answering that. Please hit the like button if you are finding this video helpful and are learning anything from it. This is good for the channel and for me personally. For that, I am eternally grateful to you. It should come as no surprise that HSBC and Mideco intend to utilize blockchain technology to digitize and tokenize all of their assets. You can rely on the HSBC Technology Advisor Group. If you look closely, you'll see that Chris Larsen, who is Ripple's executive chairman, is actually participating in this. I keep wondering if other blockchain companies are involved for some reason. Got it. This group has an AI expert, an internet and e-commerce AI expert, and a blockchain expert. Got it. No other blockchain firm operates in that region. Look at that. Plus, HSBC has more than $3 trillion in assets. That has already been covered. The asset worth of Wells Fargo is about $1.7 trillion. Here we have yet another Ripple partner. I have proof of that right here. Wells Fargo is exploring this area using Ripple. It claims that fiat money and cryptocurrencies may coexist on our system. I am pleased with that. Is this the only one with attachments? I'll make sure. Could it have been any other way? Another document here. Gaze more intently. Swift on wellsfargo.com will profit from this. Furthermore, if you browse down this page until late 2023, you will notice that we will be sending payment messages in an empty format. By year's end 2023, we hope to have implemented the use of MX format for all of our payment messages. Conversely, it appears that they are exclusive in promoting the messages they want to use till the latter half of 2023. I found this to be rather intriguing. Please pay carefully, this footage is somewhat pertinent. Allow me to notify you that Wells Fargo will be represented at SIBO 2023 by its head of Global Treasury Management and CIB Segment Solutions. I apologize for the inconvenience this may cause. Listen carefully to what this woman has to say about the flow of actual business at the bank in terms of the periods when clients can deposit and withdraw funds. Due to the fact that banks are open 24/7, you might be astonished to learn that consumers cannot make 2 payments each day. No, it is incorrect. That's even more muddled. Please examine this. Oh, really? Put another way, you represent a substantial North American institution. Is there consensus among you? Yeah. I couldn't agree with France more. In fact, I'd go ahead and add a 4th point. Predictability is another one I'd add, but I'll get to the reasoning behind my 4th point in a little. It is quite important for a US bank to know the cost and speed up front. And I'll give you the reason for that shortly. I agree with France that we are in an open network in correspondent banking, but I also think that achieving cost is a really difficult issue. Do you not agree that we often have numerous entities in various jurisdictions? The reason behind it is, actually, I thought that the Wells Fargo in New York and the Wells Fargo in California were two different entities. Both will be overseen by different departments, yet they are actually branches of the same bank. It is nevertheless difficult and costly to transfer money between the companies.